Hello, I'm Shawn Winders.
I'm Nick Wright.
And we're going to be hitting on Google Classroom, getting into creating an assignment, and hitting on a couple of other things. This is kind of an update to an older video, very long time coming. So utilize this to the best you can, and we're going to jump right in.
All right. First, just a couple benefits of Google Classroom, if you're not already aware, is the first thing for me when I was teaching is the pure organization of it. How easy it was for me to have everything in one spot. Paperless, obviously, because it's Google Classroom. So I'm not having to dig through stacks of paper to get to my students' assignments. I can assign it to them easy all through Google Classroom. And it makes communication with the student and their parents much easier. My professional growth for the longest time was communication with parents, because as the music teacher, I didn't feel like I communicated with parents very much. Google Classroom allows parents to see firsthand work that's going on in the classroom.
For me, the student side of it, getting into it, if we were on a topic, they could easily go back and review what we had previously done. They can look back at old assignments where previously we would do a worksheet, it'd get turned in, kid would have it graded, odds are it got crumpled up, thrown away, shoved in the bottom of the backpack. This is going to be a digital version of that same assignment. They can look back, see what the previous comments were, see if they understand old assignments and questions, but it's right there organized for them to kind of go back and review. And that just works so well for them. And as far as like them having multiple classes, it's very easy for them to, oh, what did I have in math? What did I have in social studies? And jump around to what they actually had. So we're going to jump in on a class that we have for you guys, and we're going to go right over to classwork.
All right. Easy to create an assignment. Go to the create button. Assignment, you can do quiz, anything through here you want, but let's start with assignment, nice and easy. Give it a title. We'll call it fake. Give them the instructions. This is to... I always had them work on this kind of stuff in class with me a lot of times. Obviously, you can do it at home. But for me, this is the way I would set it up. If we want to do points, you go over here, ungraded, or you can adjust the points. 5 points. You're just taking notes in class, maybe. You want to call it 5 points.
The other thing you can do is that once you kind of get the assignment started, we can jump over and assign it to another class. And so if you have a first period, second period, third period repeat, or something sort, if you're doing journal entry and it's not subject-based, but it's going to show up in every period, you could assign that in multiple places. So this is a quick way of doing that. And you can decide, okay, I don't want this one particular student to get that assignment, they've been absent or something like that, or you're modifying. What's really neat here is you also can do group A gets this assignment, group B gets this assignment, and assign who actually got what. The other thing we can do in here is actually set up due dates. And Nick, if you want to do that one,
yeah,
we can jump over to it.
So due date, if you want to assign it, due on Tuesday, 3 p.m. And this will actually add to your Google Calendar. So help you keep track of it. You're looking at your Google Calendar like, oh, I should have those assignments rolling in today.
The other thing you can do right there is you do have the option to close the submission to where it's going to lock them where they cannot turn it in. Personally, I don't mind it being flagged that they're late. Sometimes that's just great conversation piece. I wasn't one to really dock a kid for turning in an assignment late, but you could always go back and review that and dock them points if they were doing that. But otherwise, it's a conversation piece of there are due dates in life. We need to make sure we're getting used to that. Something else you can do is, I could have a really detailed description about what we're going to do as an assignment. It could be a writing piece. I can actually go ahead and get them started on some of it. And for the example I'm going to have is, if I can find it, there it is. So let's say this is our daily activity that I'm going to do, and I can actually click in here and preview what that's going to look like. I already have the questions I want them to answer, and this is the format I want them to answer in. So it's just going to click here and put in their answer. So how I get them to do that is when I first initially put it on here, it's in this view only format. That is great if you're doing something like a syllabus or just a rubric piece that you're not wanting to edit, you just want them to have. And they're welcome to do file, make a copy of that. The other thing is you could do, and this is the big one, is make a copy for each student. By doing that, it's actually going to take this and attach their name to it, and then they have their own individual piece. And in a future video, we'll look at grading that assignment where it's done that way. I'll go ahead and point out the student can edit a file. If you do that, you're sharing the same document to every student. So Timmy puts his name on it, then everybody sees that Timmy put his name on it. And so it's affecting everyone. So that's kind of good for like a group activity where they're doing a shared project, but not good for a class-wide tool, because then they're all in that same document editing. Now, I have used this in the past where I shared out a Google slide and I assigned each kid a different slide number. So you could do a project like that. But for the most points, you're going to do make a copy for each student, and that's going to be the easiest thing for you to do. Next, we can get into creating topics. Nick, you want to roll with that one?
Yep. Come over, create topic. And for me, it was always helpful if I was working, rhythm, unit 1, and this lesson was lesson 2, quarter notes. And that just, for the organization fact of it, all right there for me.
So that's going to pull that all together. I've seen teachers do like where he did unit 1, lesson 2. You can do like week 1, week 2, week 3. Yeah. On the example I gave earlier when I was kind of flipping through, I had my math class. I had it based on the curricular unit that we were going over. And that's how everything was organized. You could just have it for the first 9 weeks, second 9 weeks. However you're wanting to organize it, that's going to make sense to your classroom for your students to find. Now, if you do 100 topics, that's going to start getting really disorganized for the students, so just kind of keep that in mind. You don't want to overwhelm them with that. And you can tweak those and change how your assignments were grouped later on. There is a rubric option. We won't really get into that right now. You do have the option for check for originality on papers. You only get like 5 of those per class, so I would limit that to your like major final papers if you're going to utilize that tool. Otherwise, just really work with your students on creating those things. We're going to get into scheduling the assignments, and by scheduling, you can come up to the top and you can pick where it's at. Now, you notice right now mine's grayed out. If you ever accidentally unclick all your assignments, you're going to lose that. And the same thing is if you miss out on a crucial piece of information, it's going to have it where you can't assign it. So we are going to assign this. We're going to schedule it to occur at a certain time. So this will not actually show up in the student side until, let's say we do for Monday at 8 a.m. So it won't pop up before then. That is really great, especially if you're doing quizzes. We can get into those later. You can actually schedule this to show up at the middle of your class period so students don't actually start the quiz early and stuff like that. So you can actually schedule it out that way. The other thing is just staying organized and knowing it's not there yet. But as a teacher, you can see what you have scheduled and what you don't. And if I don't get around to actually assigning this, I can actually save it and just come back to it later, and you'll see that it is grayed out waiting for us. And it created this whole new topic unit for it. And then I can just come in here and I can edit the assignment and finish it out and actually assign it when I'm ready. If you don't schedule it, you can do that same thing where you're just leaving it setting and wait until you're ready. So it might be at the start of class, I'm talking about it, and then all of a sudden I come over here and I say assign, and now my kid is actually going to see the assignment, and it's going to start populating therein.
In the stream, this is something with the little ones, they always wanted to comment back and forth on the stream. This is like can be looked at like social media here. So they can comment and add whatever they want. I always found it to be a bit of an issue. So you come into stream, students can post and comment, students can only comment, only teachers can post and comment. Now, with older kids, it might be helpful to allow them to post and comment, but if we abuse it, we know we have the option to instantly take it off however we want to take it off. Then down here is the guardian summaries. You want parents to be able to see summaries. Easy communication with the parents there.
One thing is, if you did actually leave it where students can post and comment, and you do have an individual who's testing your limits on that, you can actually go to the student, and under the 3 dots by their name, you can actually mute them, and that prevents them from commenting into the streams and stuff like that. So if it's just one individual that's disrupting, you can start by muting them, and you can have a conversation with them, be like, hey, we can try again later, and unmute them. Other thing I hear a lot from teachers, especially when they first get in classroom, is they start getting email notifications a lot. You can actually go into your settings at the bottom left, not at the top right for the class, but the bottom left. If you go here, you'll see the different notification settings that you can turn on as an overall thing, and then you can actually look at each individual class if you actually drop into the class notification and say, I don't even want to hear anything from that class. Personally, on this one, is if you're sharing a class with somebody else, this is the one I would kind of tweak to turn off. Otherwise, you can leave them on and just adjust your settings how you feel fits. But that's all we have. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe and share with other educators your passion for transforming education. Keep innovating, educating, and changing lives. See you in the next video.